Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Monday, November 28th, 2022. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Monday, everyone. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. So far this quarter, we've seen a lower low failure at the previous quarter's low and close, and that thing has snapped back to the previous quarter's midpoint. We are now sitting just above that point here. We have a little bit of a resistance coming in at 40.50. 40.50, a very good CLVN in the volume profile. Also, a dropping 200-day in the ES is just above right there. And the last time price got there, it was quickly offered right here. That's the last time we hit the 200-day moving average right here. The time before that was that day right there, and here we are right there, very close to it on Friday before pulling back again. This is going to be a big time zone here to watch. Again, how does price respond when it's testing or trading near value here? If it's rejected again, we could be looking at another rotation back down within the range, very similar to what we've seen before. And a push through 4100 starts to open up a bit more upside toward 4300 and that recent pivot high. So this is going to be a big time zone here to watch early this week to see how price plays off that level. From an intra-week perspective here, the previous week's midpoint, 39.93s, that's going to be very important. That's basically the low right now of the day. That's the previous week's midpoint. The failure to hold that level, and you open up the previous week's low back to 39.37 half. 39.37 half would be about right here. So again, this is going to be important here. That's the 8-period average on the daily time frame. Right now holding, but if that area fails, you drop down another leg and you get to the previous week's low. So keep an eye on 39.93s early on today and early on this week. If it can hold, we may see another rotation back up to go test that 200-day. 40.50 is going to be a big time level here up ahead, so continue to watch that zone. If we take a look here at the NQ, right now the NQ had a bit more weakness on Friday. Holiday shortened week last week, a little bit of a failed high and a deep pullback to close below the previous session's low. We're now trading right at around the 8-period average on the daily time frame. We are below the previous week's midpoint at the moment. Need to get back above 11.730. 11.730 in order to get back above that midpoint, but as of right now holding below that zone, still in a very narrow range here that has developed basically from 11.550 up to 12K. That narrow range right there, very clear here. It's basically developed at the highs as well, so if it's going to fail through the 11.550 zone, it opens up 10.6 down below and the bottom end of this previous market structure. So a very nice range here that has developed. Continue to watch the range there. We could continue to trade back and forth within that range, but if we fail right here at the low, it opens up the bottom end of that range. Let's take a look here at crude oil. This one's down 2+% here to begin the day. Big wipeout phase overnight here as this thing dropped really from Friday morning. Big time rejection at the previous quarter's close. Big drop back to the previous quarter's low. Here today, weakness already, but holding at the lows. Very, very clear, narrow range that is developed at the lows from 73.60 up to about 74.60. Very nice, narrow range at these lows. If price starts to push back above 75s, it can open up a trap opportunity. So if you take a look here, this is the key range low, key range high up here, and the key range midpoint. We've taken the midpoint offered, and it dropped to the low. Responded initially, but now back below the low. This low is going to be very important. If it gets back above that 76.25, you start to squeeze back toward the midpoint of the key range. That's 85. So right now, this 76.25 is going to be very important. A full day of trading below it at the moment. If it can resolve itself back up, whether it's today or tomorrow, that could be a very good trap here that leads to a snapback toward 85 up ahead. So continue to watch this lower key range boundary here at 76.25. We take a look at gold futures here. All right, let's take a look at gold here. You'll notice gold with a strong reversal here midweek last week, 1720, a very strong pivot low. Gold here with a rare triple bottom on these lows and rallied back toward 1780, 1790, the upper end of this channel here. And so right now, strong pivot low, holding in the range above. That pivot low is going to be very important. A failure to hold that 1720, and it opens up the bottom of this market structure back to 1620. So that's going to be a very good strong pivot low to continue to watch. Until then, we're still in this range here, 1790, 1720. That's the range with an upward bias here. We may see a little bit more upside toward the top end of the previous quarter's range, but again, we'll see how price responds once it reaches that edge. So far been rejected here. So an upward bias, a strong pivot low to work off of, and we could be looking at a little bit more upside toward these key levels up above in gold. We take a look lastly at ETH futures, down 1.5% right now. This one never got that key range midpoint that we were looking for at 1355.5. We may still get it some point down the road here, but in terms of the impulsive sell-off here, we never got that level. It could still be considered a key range, but not the best example that we can find. So we'll continue to watch for this one to develop here. But overall, this one's sitting just above 1,000. It's still holding on to that level as much as it can here. Perhaps another flush could provide a rejection opportunity that snaps this thing back to the upside. Until then, we're kind of stuck in a range and trading within this narrow range here between 1100 and 1200. And again, if we get a flush down toward 900, that could provide a trap opportunity that snaps us back toward 13, maybe back up toward 1600. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the new week of trading. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.